The film opens with Jennifer Hills, a novelist who decides to rent a remote cabin in the deep south so she can focus on finishing her novel. On the way, she stops at a small shop to pick up the keys to her cabin. The shop owner, Earl, hands her the keys and gives her directions. He warns her the cabin is a bit hard to get to, but promises the peace and view will be worth it. As Jennifer drives through the countryside, she grows confused by the winding roads. She stops at a gas station to fill up a tank where she meets three men hanging around: Andy, Stanley, and Johnny. They try to flirt with her, but Jennifer isn't having it. She's all business. Instead, she asks them for exact directions to a cabin, something she probably shouldn't have done. Johnny, clearly attracted to her, tries to make a move, but she accidentally causes him to spill a bucket of fluid. Andy instantly laugh at Johnny's humiliation while Jennifer drives away. Johnny's shame is clear. Finally, after a long drive, Jennifer arrives at the isolated, slightly creepy cabin that will be her home for the next few months. She unpacks and immediately begins writing. The next day, she relaxes by the lake but hears noises in the woods, thinking they're just crows. She ignores them and continues writing on her porch until she hears noises from the shed. Curious, she checks it out and finds tools and canisters labeled poison. Unfazed, she returns to the cabin. Later, after spilling wine on her shirt, she washes it at the shrink, unaware that someone outside is secretly videotaping her half naked. The following morning, Jennifer goes for a run and finds an abandoned house. She explores it briefly but doesn't find anything of interest. Back at the cabin, she plans to take a bath but realizes the water runs brown and the toilet is clogged. She calls a plumber, Matthew, to fix it. Unfortunately, she drops her phone in the toilet and has to dry it with a hairdryer. When Matthew arrives, it's clear she has a speech problem and an intellectual disability. Jennifer, grateful for his help, gives him a sudden kiss. Meanwhile, Andy, Stanley, and Johnny are in the woods killing fish for fun while Stanley records them. Matthew later joins the group, revealing that Jennifer kissed him. Johnny doesn't believe it, but Stanley confirms it's true. Then Stanley creepily shows the others the video he took of Jennifer the previous night. This enrages Johnny, who claims that women like Jennifer just need to be shown a good time. That night, Jennifer hears strange sounds again. When she opens the door, she finds a dead bird on her doorstep. Alarmed, she checks outside but sees no one. Returning to her laptop, she is horrified to find a selfie of Johnny and his friends. Before she can react, the men storm into a cabin. Andy mocks her. Stanley records everything and Johnny drags Matthew inside, even though Matthew clearly doesn't want to be part of it. Jennifer tries to scare them off by saying her boyfriend is coming, but they don't buy it. They ridicule her writing, toss lit matches at her, and Johnny forces her to drink. Terrified, she obeys. Matthew hides in a corner, unwilling to stand up for her. Things escalate when Johnny forces Jennifer to show him her teeth. Threatening her with a baseball bat, he then shoves a gun into her mouth. When Andy approaches her, Jennifer seizes the chance. She smashes a bottle against his knee, grabs pepper spray, and blinds Stanley before bolting into the woods. She stumbles upon Sheriff Storch and Earl. In tears, she begs them for help. The sheriff sends Earl away and escorts Jennifer back to the cabin. But once inside, the sheriff notices a joint and a broken alcohol bottle. Instead of helping, he accuses Jennifer of lying and making false claims about men he's known since childhood. He then uses a body search as an excuse to grope her. Moments later, Johnny and the others return. The sheriff suddenly joins them in assaulting Jennifer. When she resists, Johnny chokes her while forcing Matthew to undress. Matthew hesitates but complies under pressure. The men then force Matthew to assault her as Stanley films. In the middle of this horrific scene, the sheriff even answers a phone call from his young daughter. Afterward, Matthew vomits and Jennifer uses the last of her strength to escape into the woods. Unfortunately, the men catch her again. Andy dunks her head in a puddle and the sheriff rapes her while ignoring her desperate cries. The group takes turns assaulting her, all while Stanley records. Barely alive, Jennifer crawls away to a bridge. When the sheriff aims his gun, Jennifer leaps into the river and disappears. They wait, but she never resurfaces. Panicked, the sheriff orders them to dispose of her car, her belongings, and to burn Stanley's tape. The sheriff returns home to his wife and daughter as if nothing happened. The next day, he lies to Earl, saying Jennifer left because she was a drunk troublemaker. The men try to move on, but Matthew drowns in guilt. Weeks later, Earl receives a call from a woman named Barbara asking about Jennifer's whereabouts. Around the same time, Stanley panics when he realizes someone stole his handicap, the tape he never actually burned. Johnny, furious, beats him, but Andy calms things down. That night, Johnny hears strange knocks at his door. He finds a dead bird, then one of Jennifer's sandals. Paranoid, he shoots into the dark but finds nothing. The next day, the sheriff's wife receives the incriminating tape in the mail, sending the sheriff into a frenzy. Believing it's a prank, he confronts the men, and suspicion falls on Matthew, who has disappeared. Later, while hunting with Earl, the sheriff suddenly shoots him dead, eliminating another loose end. Meanwhile, Matthew, tormented by guilt, wakes in the abandoned house and comes face to face with Jennifer alive. Relieved, he breaks down in tears and apologizes, but Jennifer strangles him with a rope. Soon after, Stanley and Andy search the woods for Matthew and stumble upon the abandoned house. Stanley is separated from Andy is suddenly caught in a bear trap. Jennifer appears, and while Andy rushes to help, she knocks him unconscious. Stanley later wakes tied to a stump. Jennifer tortures him, force feeding him a rat, hooking his eyelids open, smearing fish guts on his face, and letting crows peck out his eyes until he dies. Meanwhile, Andy awakens tied above a tub filling with water. Jennifer repeatedly dunks his head before pouring acid into the tub. She removes a plank so Andy has to hold himself up. When he can't anymore, he sinks into the acid and dies a painful death. Jennifer then targets Johnny. At the gas station, she knocks him out and ties him up naked with a horse bit in his mouth. She yanks his teeth out one by one, then castrates him with shears and stuffs his severed genitals into his mouth. Johnny bleeds to death. Finally, Jennifer goes after the sheriff. He receives a call from his daughter, who says her new teacher wants to speak to him. To his horror, the teacher is Jennifer. Panicked, he rushes home only to find his daughter gone. At an empty playground, Jennifer ambushes him. When the sheriff wakes, he finds himself in a cabin with a shotgun shoved inside him. Jennifer mocks him, tying the trigger to Matthew's unconscious wrist. If Matthew moves, the gun will fire. Jennifer leaves them. Moments later, Matthew stirs, pulling the trigger. The sheriff is blown apart and the movie ends. And that's how the movie comes to an end. A brutal story of survival, vengeance, and justice served in the most horrifying way possible. What do you think about Jennifer's revenge? Did she go too far, or did the men get exactly what they deserved? If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to CineSnap for more chilling movie breakdowns just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.